this cut. Oh, here it is. I want to do this one. 888-957-9570. Are the Eagles right now your number one rival? Or is it the Seahawks? Is it the Rams? Is it the Cowboys? Here's Baldy about the rivalry between the Eagles and the Niners.
They don't like each other, and they want to meet again. You know, they want to see each other in the playoffs, whatever round that might be. They want to see each other again. And, you know, that's a beatdown, you know, but it was a beatdown in the NFC Championship game. And look, I've got no problem players talking. Fans love it. I love listening to it. I wasn't a big chirper, but I enjoyed doing it and giving it back to guys. And it does take it up to a whole nother intensity. And when you put stuff out there all week, you know, the idea is I'm going to go back it up. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that Debo's ever backed up anything he's ever said more than what he just did in Philadelphia.
He backed it up in a big way.
So talking about like the players not liking each other, Tom Rinaldi at the very beginning of the broadcast of the game is showing you all of the pregame skirmish is probably too strong, but like the guys clustering together and like talking a bunch of smack. And then during the game, how many fights were there in the first half?
There's a lot of skirmishes.
A lot of them.
All throughout the game.
What?
All throughout the game.
And then during the tush push, there were special teams play. I mean, there was a play. I don't know, was it Diamond or Lenore who blasted A.J. Brown on the tush push play?
Oh, he did blast him there. Yeah, they got it 2-2.
Yeah, and then Bosa had to rip somebody else away. I don't know who it was. Like, that entire team on both sidelines, they don't like each other. No, it was very real to me.
It was personal.
Yes.
It was personal. And you can see, by the way, Diamondor Lenore hit DeAndre Swift at the end of the game. It's 42-19. He could have held up, but he didn't. It was a warning shot. And the Niners wanted to send that warning shot to Philadelphia. So we think about the physicality, and we think about this tone setter right here, in the words of Brian Baldinger.
The guy that, to me, just gives this team and this whole fan base just something to gravitate towards is Debo. Like, he's just a different type of player. Like, he gives that team a level of toughness that, not that they don't have it, they have it. But he just gives them extra pop, like nobody else. You can talk about Christian, he's an MVP. You can talk about Trent, you can talk about how well Brock is playing. I just feel like Debo gives that team something that a lot of teams don't have. They just don't have that type of spark from a guy that's that tough and that hard to tackle.
So think about the tone setter. We've been talking about this for years, Shasky. George Kittle, when he lays the boom early in the football game, it's just different. The sideline starts getting up. They start jumping up and down. They get up off the bench. They start getting fired up. And those are the things that when we had the whole Steve Wilkes dialogue, whether he should come from the press box or the sideline to get people fired up or whatnot, it's like, it's not his job. The players have to perform to fire that sideline up. And so when you get a Deebo Samuel who's out there lowering his shoulder and he's breaking tackles from Nicholas Morrow in the middle of the field and he's outrunning Darius Slade Jr., that's your tone setter. And he is different. Nobody else has somebody like him.
Did you see how Brandon Ayuk was celebrating on the third touchdown?
What he was doing, he started swimming in the end zone. He slid into the end zone.
It was incredible.
They love Debo.
It was incredible. I mean, Michael Irvin has talked about how, like, him and Alvin Harper were so angry at each other over who would get touchdowns.
Well, the great NFC Championship clip.
Yeah, you're running with my ball.
I went over there and took his spot thinking this is my play.
Yes.
And I see it going, he stole my play, Michael Irvin.
Oh, my God.
Now, that's the disease of me after you've won one.
Right.
So this team hasn't won one. But no, you're 100% on. You also talked about it yesterday, and I don't think we talk enough about it. Blocking downfield. Kittle blocking multiple guys downfield on 3 different big-time plays, chunk plays. Ayuk blocking downfield. Ronnie Bell blocking downfield. I mean, this team really does, when the ball's not going to them, they don't quit. They don't give up. They keep fighting for each other. And it's the element of, like, at any given play, it could be your turn and I have to block. On any given play, it could be my turn and you have to block. And it just feels like everybody's bought in. I'm telling you, it feels like, I mean, they feel the most unified they've been. They feel like they're the deepest they've been. They feel like they're the top, upper echelon, loaded with talent they've ever been. This feels like their year, B.
You know why? Because they finally settled in on the quarterback.
Yeah.
There's no more question marks about whether it's Jimmy or Trey or is Jimmy
that guy's holding his back.
We know Brock Purdy's going to be here.
Yeah.
And I think that settled everybody down. Watching Brock Purdy line up in Pittsburgh, suit up, and go right down the field on the opening drive, hitting George Kittle with a 4th down, and they go out there and smoke the Pittsburgh Steelers. And when it comes to downfield blocking, the Christian McCaffrey run, who's downfield blocking? Brandon Ayuk. That's what the great 49ers teams in the past did. John Taylor, T.O., Jerry Rice, Brent Jones, these guys block downfield to make a 20-yard run, a 50-yard run, to make a 10-yard run, a 40-yard run. That separates the good teams from the great teams.
Yes.
And right now they're cooking on all cylinders. And so when you talk about Brock Purdy, listen to what Baldy said here. Then we'll get to Junior Pacifica.
They could have drafted quarterbacks for the next 10 years at the top of the draft, giving away all their draft picks, go up there, and they're not going to find anybody better than Brock. And they're just not going to do it. They found the perfect player for this whole system. I mean, and it's not, I think he could be successful with the Jets right now, and they can make him a playoff team. I think he can make a lot of teams successful. But in this particular organization and the group around him and the veteran leadership and the playmakers they have, he's the perfect complement. You know, you talk about the first 2 drives and, you know, the -6 yards. Well, the next third down was 3rd and 2. He was going to Ayuk, who stumbled and fell on the play, and they doubled McCaffrey. So he had to go all the way back to the other side to find Kittle for 3 yards and a first down to keep that drive alive. And, you know, you just go, he sees the whole field, sideline to sideline, and then anything down the field he sees. He's got the eyes of a hawk, and then he just has the footwork to make sure that every throw is just about perfect.
How about that? He can make the Jets a playoff team.
I mean, you don't think so? His ball security is pretty freaking incredible. His feel for the playbook is pretty incredible.
I hear what Baldy's saying.
I mean, they've been in a lot of games where literally the quarterback throwing up all over themselves is the reason why they can't win. I mean, they've been in so many winnable games. I know we view the Jets as some god-awful team. They actually have talent.
I don't know if this is real or not, Loveman, but you could look at this. Apparently, the Giants were informed late last night that they're out on Shohei Ohtani. That leaves the Blue Jays and Dodgers. I don't know how legit that source is, but yeah, there it is. Maybe, Loveman, you could fact-check that. Anyway, to what you're saying. Here's why I scoff at that a little bit.
Why is that?
Because there's no Deebo Samuel on the New York Jets. There's no George Kittle. There's no Brandon Ayuk. There's no Christian McCaffrey. And they don't have an offensive line that can protect Brock Purdy. But I hear what Baldy's saying. He can elevate the room. He can possibly make them a playoff team. Maybe. But the Jets are bad.
I mean, they're 4-8. We're acting like they're you know, the Carolina Panthers. Like they've been in a lot of games.
Come on, dude.
No, I'm not saying that there's some world beaters, but they
stop it. They got smoked by the Dolphins on Black Friday.
Yeah, the Dolphins.
You see them against the Falcons?
They started a guy who was like a 4-stringer all around the league.
Come on, Shaz.
I'm not saying. Look,
the Jets are terrible.
What I'm saying is, I think that he gives them a much better chance of being closer to 500 than what they're at now. I mean, and the AFC is down in general.
I mean, come on. The Jets stink. They stink.
Hit the sounder.
They stink. They lost to the Chargers 27-6. They weren't even competitive. They lost to the Raiders. I was at that game. The Jets are awful. I don't know. That's
somebody has to say it.
All right.
I don't know. I think highly enough of Brock. I think he can do it.